I always believed that betrayal would come from outside, from enemies, from strangers. I never imagined it would come from the very people who shared my blood. I grew up thinking family meant loyalty, protection, and unity. They were supposed to be my safe place, my foundation. But I learned, slowly and painfully, that sometimes the people standing closest to you are the ones holding the sharpest knives. They don't attack you with rage or hatred. No. They smile, hug you, call you family, and quietly take everything from you piece by piece until you wake up one day and realize they've left you with nothing but your own name, and even that doesn't feel like yours anymore. I wasn't born rich, but my father worked hard his entire life. He built a business from scratch, something our relatives used to laugh at in the beginning. They said he was wasting his time, chasing a dream that would never work. But when it finally succeeded, they all showed up again, suddenly remembering our address, suddenly interested in staying connected as a family. I was young, but not blind. I saw how their eyes glowed when they stepped into our new home, when they noticed the polished floors, the expensive furniture, the quiet dignity that money brings. My father, being the man he was, welcomed them anyway. He believed kindness would be remembered. He believed loyalty could be bought with love. He was wrong. When he died, he trusted them. He believed that blood would honor him. His will clearly said that everything was to be handled fairly, with my future protected. But I didn't understand then how greed works. It's patient. It smiles. It speaks softly while it plans your downfall. They didn't attack me openly. No, they were too clever for that. They wrapped their betrayal in fake affection. They told me, "Don't worry, we'll handle everything. You're young, you should focus on your life, your studies." And like a fool, I trusted them. Days passed. Then weeks. Then months. Documents were being signed, meetings were happening without me, decisions were being made while I was kept in the dark. I remember standing in a room full of people I was related to by blood, watching them speak like strangers about things that once belonged to my father, to me. I tried to speak up, to ask questions, but they would put a hand on my shoulder and say, "You don't understand these things, let the adults handle it." The adults. As if I was a naive child who couldn't feel the ground shifting beneath me. Then came the day I truly understood what they had done. I arrived at the office that was supposed to carry my father's legacy, only to find a new name's plate on the door, my cousin's name. Mine was gone. They had taken it. They said it was for legal convenience, that we need your signature just to proceed with paperwork. I signed, not knowing that signature erased me from everything my father built. My father's hard work had become someone else's empire, and I was reduced to a guest in a place that once belonged to my blood. I walked out that day with a smile on my face, but something inside me shattered quietly. I didn't scream. I didn't beg. That's not how I fight. I don't fight loud. I destroy quietly. And that was the moment I stopped being their victim, and started being their biggest regret. People think revenge is about rage. It's not. Rage burns fast and bright, and then it's gone. What I felt was colder. Heavier. Something that sat in my chest like ice. I didn't want to hurt them quickly. I wanted them to feel time pass. I wanted them to feel what I felt, being ignored, dismissed, treated like I didn't matter. I wanted them to taste insignificance. They thought taking everything from me would break me. But what they didn't understand was, when someone has nothing left to lose, that's when they become truly dangerous. I didn't seek revenge through anger. I used silence. I used patience. I vanished from their world without a word. They thought they won. They celebrated. They toasted. They wore expensive clothes, drove new cars, and stood proudly in front of cameras, acting like they built something from nothing, pretending my father never existed. Let them enjoy it, I thought. Let them feel powerful. The fall always hurts more when you're standing at the top. I started from zero. I didn't even have my own last name attached to something anymore. But that was fine. I didn't need a legacy handed to me, I was going to build one that would bury theirs. I took jobs they would laugh at. I worked in silence. I studied their every move, their business decisions, their weak points. I watched from the shadows as they got comfortable, careless, greedy. And while they were busy enjoying stolen success, I was building something stronger, something cleaner, something unstoppable. Every night I reminded myself, they erased you. So rise in a way they cannot touch. They believed they had erased me, but ghosts always come back. Years passed. My name slowly started to appear again, attached to something they couldn't control. A new brand. A rising company. Quiet at first, then louder. Investors started mentioning my name. Clients began switching to my side. The same people who used to shake their hands were now shaking mine. And I never had to beg. Success has a way of making people listen even when you don't speak. Then came the moment. The sweet, silent moment when one of them approached me during an event, smiling like nothing had ever happened, saying, "We're family, we should collaborate." I looked at the same blood that once sold me out and realized something: they hadn't changed. They still believed I was that naive kid who would accept crumbs just to feel included. They didn't understand that I no longer needed a seat at their table, because I was building my own table, and soon, they would be the ones begging for a seat. I didn't seek revenge with fire. I used ice. Calm, calculated, controlled. While they were busy fighting each other for power inside their stolen empire, I was quietly buying everything around them. Silent shares. Hidden partnerships. Key suppliers. Crucial distributors. One day, without warning, everything they relied on stopped working. Deals collapsed. Contracts got pulled. Their phones stopped ringing. And mine wouldn't stop. I didn't destroy them with anger. I destroyed them with success. I made their empire irrelevant without ever touching it directly. I didn't need to take back what they stole. I made what they stole worthless. They tried to sell what was once my father's pride, and no one wanted it. No one trusted their name anymore. But mine was everywhere. And I'll admit it, there was a moment, a brief one, where I wondered if I should forgive. If I should walk back and offer them a hand, not for them, but for my own peace. But then I remembered the day I stood outside that office with my name erased from the door, surrounded by blood that treated me like a burden instead of family. Peace isn't given. Peace is earned. And they never earned it. They started to panic. Meetings became arguments. Smiles became tension. And in all of that chaos, they finally understood. I wasn't coming back for revenge. I was building something that made revenge unnecessary. Their punishment was watching me rise without them. Knowing they could have built this with me, but instead, they chose greed, and lost everything. One day, I stood outside the building that once erased my name. The same cousin who took everything from me stood there too, tired, defeated, older but not wiser. He looked at me the way people look at someone they once underestimated. He didn't say sorry. People like him rarely do. Instead, he just said, "You could have helped us." I looked at him and replied calmly, "I tried to, once." And then I walked away. No dramatic speeches. No loud declarations. Just silence. Pure, powerful silence. Because that's the thing about revenge, true revenge isn't about destroying someone. It's about showing them that even after they tried to bury you, you grew, and they stayed in the dirt. My own blood sold me out. They tried to write me out of my own story. But I came back, not to fight them, but to erase their importance entirely. I didn't just survive their betrayal. I turned it into my fuel. I didn't fight loud. I destroyed quietly. And now, when people speak of legacy, they don't speak of them. They speak of me. They thought they buried me. They didn't know I was a seed. And now, while they fade into silence, my name, not theirs, is the one the world remembers. If you felt that, don't just leave. Stay. Because this world is full of quiet revenge stories. And I'll keep telling the ones they don't want you to hear. Subscribe, and let them hear us rise.